Hey there. Thanks for joining us. This is Real Talk Real Estate. Happy Friday. It's Feel Good Friday.
It is Feel Good Friday.
Sure is.
Happy Friday. Are you feeling good?
I'm feeling good.
Good.
On that note, we have the lovely Shannon Krecklow. Give it up for
welcome.
my lady, Shannon.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Welcome to the show.
She's the bomb. Of course, I'm Chris Krecklow. As well.
Yep, welcome.
We got a great show.
We have a great show today. Special guest.
Yep. First, we have. Why is that on
Not
there?
Brian
Sorry.
and Shannon.
Not Brian and
I know.
Shannon, but
I'm not
just Brian, my man.
Yeah. What's up, Brian?
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
And then we've got a
Bring him out.
very special guest today, joining us, our good friend, Mr. Vaughn Luttrell.
Yes.
Hey guys.
Welcome. Give him some claps.
Well, what's
Yes.
going on?
Hi, Vaughn.
Hey,
Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in. We're excited to have you.
thanks for having me.
Have him muted or something. He's muted. Boom. Now you can
So
talk.
sorry.
He took your volume right out. So welcome to the show.
welcome to the
Thanks
show.
for coming in with us
much
today.
better
It's a
now.
pleasure to
Okay.
have you on the show. So
right.
thanks for
for
being on
having
Real Talk Real Estate, Colorado Native Realty here in Colorado. We wanted to bring on our good friend Vaughn. He's awesome. He's been working hard for a couple of our clients recently.
Yeah, man.
He's got some great stuff going on.
I'll
and
be
it's
out in Home
exciting.
Depot and run into a realtor, and they'll be like, "Do you know Vaughn Luttrell?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man."
Yep, everybody knows
Yeah,
Vaughn.
everybody knows Vaughn. So,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
Yes. What's up,
I
Brian?
appreciate being a part of things. This is
yeah,
exciting.
man. No, it's great. We love what you do. Obviously, we love to work with you. And you know, it's great to know what you do out there in the community, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today as well, which, you know, would be great. We've got kind of a lot going on, and I know you've got a lot going on too. So yeah, we're glad to have you, my man, for sure.
You bet. I appreciate that, Chris.
You bet.
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
excited.
So Brian's back now. All right, there we go.
He's
Sweet.
back.
He's back. All right, man. Well, let's we've got a couple houses for sale. This first one is yours, right, Brian?
Yep. So it's here in Littleton. It's a sweet house. One owner, 3 beds, 3 baths. Great.
All right. Sweet house. I mean, this thing's awesome. No doubt about it. We've got this other listing too. This is in Aurora, I believe. What's the price on this one, Shannon?
$350.
$350. Yep. So a sweet attached property here in Aurora, $350.
Sorry.
That's nice.
Yeah, no, sweet house. And then over in Painted Sky, with
Price improvement.
that's right, with the price
Yes.
improvement.
Yes, we have cut
Even-
the price. Seller wants an offer. Bring it.
I mean, this house is so nice. I don't understand why we haven't sold this one yet. It's a beauty. It's a great house. You know, it's
Buyers have choices right now.
I know, they sure
it's
do.
Hard.
And-
It's
and
hard
it
out
is
there
a-
in
it is
real
a
estate
different
if you're a
world.
seller. So
I know.
who else is it hard out there for right now? Do you remember?
Lenders.
That I was going to say the Broncos.
Oh,
Lenders too. Brian sent over this picture this morning with the Titanic in Broncos country,
oh.
and it says "Let's ride."
I mean, I've heard it all. I've heard "Let's hide."
Let's hide. The ride. Yes. So the Titanic. Is it hard out there for lenders right now, Vaughn? What's going on with you and rates and all of that?
It's you can't just jump in this business right now. You can't just become a lender today.
Yeah.
It is a little bit tricky right now, but we got some cool stuff, man. There's some cool products. This is, people have to remember is historically these rates are still low.
for sure.
And I remember I bought my first house in 2000. Let's see, March of 2000, and the interest rate was 9.5.
Wow.
And I don't think we're going to go back to there. I don't see that happening. I think that here this next year, we're going to start seeing things turn around a little bit, and the Feds are going to loosen the reins, and they're just trying to slow the market down right now. But with that comes lower home prices, right? And it's like you can't have both. You can't have super low home prices and super low interest rates at the same time.
Yeah.
Because when the interest rates are really low, everybody wants to buy, which is pushing the price value up, right? And so
Balance.
Right
Yep.
now, it's about getting in. If this is the most perfect time to buy, it's like buying stock, right? It's when do you buy stock? It's not when it's high. You buy it when it's low.
No doubt.
And you buy right now, and then the great part about having a mortgage is you can refinance it when the rates do get low, and they're not going to stay this way forever. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what we tell our clients is marry the house, date the rate. That silly little phrase that's floating around right now.
That's a good one. I do like that.
So that way you can always go back in and you can adjust the rate. You can there's things you can do to get the rate lower, and you guys are getting really creative with that as well to help with the 2-1 buy down and all the other things that are out there. And then you've got really competitive rates already in comparison to everyone else. So
I mean, I would say the best, like, as far as that goes, like your rates are
I appreciate
incredible,
that.
and I know you do a lot of work and there's a lot of things that go into you having that great rate. And just, a lot of that is yourself and coming from contribution. And I think that definitely comes across, and especially as people get to know you. So,
right now, I think you're going to see, I appreciate that, man. I think right now what you're seeing is, mortgage companies are closing their doors. They forgot that this is a people business, right? Anybody can open a mortgage company when the interest rates are 2%.
Right.
Everybody can do refinances. But I actually have friends in this business. Like, these realtors that I work with are my friends. Like, we talk, like, hang out. And so if you haven't established friendships and relationships in this town forever, and I was born and raised in Colorado Springs for 50 years, it's going to be tough sledding for you right now.
Yep.
And, my job is to make sure that we're staying on the cutting edge. And, we do have some cool programs. We do have some cool rates. And, we are a lot lower than everybody else. But it's still, right now what we're dealing with in this is it's a mindset, right? It's getting everyone to understand that it's consumer scare is real, right? They see the rates go. We've never in the history of rates seen the rates go from 2% to 7%. You know what I mean? Like this
overnight is what it felt like.
And I think that's what some of it is, and it's adjusting and it's educating and it's talking things through and understanding the big picture, and that homes are still your best investment. And but right now, God, man, if you can buy a house right now with these house prices falling, man, let's go.
Yep. Get in there.
Well, and we, I'm sure you follow Tatiana Bailey. She's like a local economist, and she's great. We love her, by the way. But we were watching one of her segments, and she was talking about only 22% of our population here in El Paso County, and of course I'm speaking just of like where we're at in the geographic area of Colorado, but 22% is can afford to buy
right now,
which is crazy. So if you are one of those 22%, obviously we are advocates for home ownership.
Yeah.
And just like you said, Vaughn, it is the number one way to build wealth. But that's a scary number. Like, let's get that up. Let's let's see what we can do to approve people and help them share in home ownership, because it's been paramount for us in our success and just owning a home.
Well, and just come, just turning things around in your life and being able to have little extra change in your back pocket because of your equity, and being able to help people too. One of the biggest things that we love about being in real estate, of course, is being able to help somebody that get into the house for the first time, be able to help, help them, whatever their needs are. If they're doing a 1031 exchange, if they need to upsize, whatever that is. But your home in and of itself is such a safe haven for people that it is, we thank God every day for a house, like literally, like that is the biggest thing for us. And then go put this little picture up here for me. It says, leaving your house and returning safely is such an underrated blessing. When this came up on one of my feeds, it just gravitated to me because it's real and it's reality for all of us. And then
I think that people forget that.
People forget it
on a daily basis.
Yes. And then recently, Vaughn, I don't know if I told you this, but my daughter Avery, she's 9 years old. She's incredibly talented, but she got invited to be in a commercial for Catholic
saw that.
Charities here in Colorado
I
Springs.
saw that.
Yeah, so she like Catholic Charities is a great organization that helps displaced families that maybe have became homeless because of extraneous circumstances, domestic violence, whatever the scenario is. And she played basically a homeless girl living in her car with her mom, and then her mom took her back into like the environment that was not safe, essentially. So having conversations with our daughter at 9 years old, why somebody'd be living in a car, helping people in real estate was really really interesting for us. And then to have, to know how lucky we are just to have a house, and then explain to her that some people don't. Like that was really challenging, and being able to like overcome that obstacle, and getting back into this organization does a great job of helping people in those scenarios. So it'll be neat to see what they end up doing with the work.
They are responsible for they run the soup kitchen here.
Yeah, it's downtown. Everybody's seen it.
They're definitely trying to help with our homeless situation.
I don't know how much more I can take of this, man. You got me all.
Oh well, you bet. You wait. We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you all choked up here.
I know, right? That's right. Well, hey, speaking of that and good causes, let's talk about
let's
this
talk
right
about
here.
yours. Yeah,
for sure.
ThankFest. What's
ThankFest.
that about? You called me a couple weeks ago and got really real with me on like a Monday morning. It was pretty crazy. The conversation that we had, and you shared a lot of yourself and details and your backstory and history, which if you're comfortable talking about that today, we'd love to learn more. But talk about ThankFest and what it is, and what you guys and your team are doing for the community here in Colorado Springs right now.
Well, absolutely. So I thought of this idea when I was laying in my prison cell bed. And I know that may sound a little shocking, but yes, I was in prison. That's public knowledge. I did 7 years and 10 months, almost 8 years, 2,530 days. I killed a person drinking and driving.
Wow.
And I did that. That was a bad day, May 21st, 2005. And right here in Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
And people think, you have to, I'm not going to drink and drive, going home from the bar that night, but that wasn't the case. This was 4:30 in the afternoon, and I had drank the night before and had one drink that day. But I still had so much alcohol in my system. I ran a red light, and I took someone's life, and she was a mother. She was a daughter, a sister,
right.
A niece, an aunt. She was my age. Actually, we were both the same age at that time. And so that definitely that kind of changed the course. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It changed everything for everybody. And I don't think anyone's the same after that. And definitely not the victims. And the victims in this, in a crime like that there's more victims than you could ever believe. Right. Every friend she ever had, they're victimized, right? I mean, every single pair, there was thousands and thousands and thousands of victims. And by a poor decision to turn the key after I've been drinking.
Right.
And so I end up, long story short, I went to prison and decided that enough was enough. So the first day when we finally got my first prison I went to was Buena Vista Correctional Facility, and it's known as the Gladiator School. It's a lot of gang members. It's a rough place. It's the second oldest prison in the state of Colorado, next to Territorial and Canyon City. And they used to let people go there with a horse, gold coin. Wow. And so, at the time, like 130-year-old prison, right? And so like the old bars, and, when I walked in, are you guys still there?
Yeah, we're here. Oh yeah.
Okay.
We're checking you out.
I couldn't see your face for a minute. Yep. So you walked in, it's gloomy, it's gloomy. It's a dark place. It's a place you don't ever want to go. And I remember walking down the aisle there, right? They have like an intake cells before you get sent to where your actual prison cell is going to be. And I remember, you have your blanket, and they give you a toothbrush, and they give you, toothpaste and this and that. And the inmate rep actually took me down, and he had a huge cut across his eye, and his name was Kilo.
Oh my gosh.
And that was his name. I don't know what his real name was, but I was thinking to myself, and this dude was like 6'6", like 320. And I was thinking, who hit him?
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, this is a whole different world in here. And I remember playing cards one day, and right before I went to prison, I was in jail after I got sentenced. And this old timer, this guy was probably, I don't know, maybe 85, 90 years old. And he just looked at me and I said, he goes, are you doing okay? And I said, not really. And he said, here's how you do okay. How many years you got? I said, I'm about to do 10. And he goes, I want you to forget you have a family.
Wow.
I want you to forget you have children. And I want you to get right into the prison life and make a difference and become the best version of you. And worry about you right now, because you're not going to be any good to your family in here. And you're not going to be any good to anybody. So you might as well take the time to work on yourself. Right. And that resonated with me. And so, that first day when I came into the prison and they shut the door behind me, old yellow bars, there's a bunk bed. I didn't have a cellie at the time. There's a bunk bed. There's a sink. There's a desk, like a built-in metal desk. And that's it. And I remember when the door slammed, it was my son's birthday. It was June 6th. And there's a big clock across the wall. Like there was a walkway, and there was like a walkway here and cell. And then there was a place where people would go take showers on the front and phones and whatnot. But they had a big clock like you'd see in like third grade, and I could hear it. And I was standing there, and it was 6:00 in the morning when they brought me in, and I just put my stuff down on the bed. And it was my son's birthday. Wow. I couldn't call him because he was a victim of my crime. He was in the car crash. And you can't talk to your victims. And I was watching the clock, and it was going tick, 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 and I could hear it.
And that's only the beginning of the whole scenario for you in that space. I mean, literally.
Yeah. There was a guy moving around the cell next to me, and I could hear him. And I said, hey, man, do you have a piece of paper and a pen? And he said, yeah, man, I got one for you. And I didn't have anything yet. I couldn't get the commissary. Couldn't get, anything yet. And so he took his dental floss, right? And he tied a pen with some dental floss and a piece of paper, and like folded it up in force, and then like put it under the pen cap, and then tossed it through his cell. And he was really good. It's called fishing, right? And he fished it down to me, and I got it, and I pulled it in my cell, and I had a piece of paper and a pen.
Wow.
And I sat there. You don't cry in prison, right? That's not something you just do, because
you can't.
It's not going to be good for you.
Yeah.
You can't come off weak, because it's like sharks, blood in the water with sharks. And so, but that morning, man, I cried real tears quietly, and I started writing down, like, what do I want out of my life, right? Like, what kind of father do I want to be? What kind of brother do I want to be? What kind of family member? What kind of community member? What kind of employee? Like, what do I want to do with my life? And I can't go back. I can't fix what I've done.
Right.
But do I cash my chips in, or do I become the best person I can and try to help as many people out as I can? And I just decided that day. And so I wrote down all my goals. I wanted to read 1,000 books. It's the only goal I didn't get done. I've read 950 books.
Do you still have that piece of paper with all the goals that you wrote down? Do you still have that? Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Wow.
And then I wanted to get in shape. I was 330 pounds. I'm a former college basketball player. You know what I mean? I just let my whole life go, and I wanted to get in shape, and I wanted to repair relationships and mend fences and things that I had said or done as an irresponsible young man to leave my mom or anyone.
Right.
And so I began to write letters, and I just was reading, and I picked up a book one time on the bookshelf there on the cart that moves by your cell, and it was called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
One of my favorite books too, by the way.
Great.
Yep.
So I was actually 2 years ago, I was the keynote speaker at the Franklin Covey National Convention.
Great.
And it was really cool from picking up this book off a prison cart.
Wow.
And be proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first things first, and those kind of things. Right.
Well, and you didn't let that whole scenario, that tragic event, in my opinion, you didn't let that like hold you back. You used it as, I don't want to say leverage, but as a tool to be able to make your life and the lives of your family and all these people that you affect all the time around you so much better. And you've really done a great job of that, and it's inspirational.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. We created a program in prison that was called 7 Habits, and we spun it off as 7 Habits of Highly Effective Inmates. So we would take 40 guys, and you have to sign up through your case manager to get in, and became so popular that the waiting list to get into the class was like 8 months long.
Wow.
And when you got in, you knew you were about to be filled. And we would teach guys how to live effective lives behind the walls, but preparing them for the future, because the fact of the matter is that 85, 90% of these guys are going to be our neighbors. And if we don't start taking care of these guys inside and preparing them and getting them ready character-wise, like what is character? It's who you are when no one's looking, right?
Yep.
When no one's looking when you're in prison. And that's the time you need to build things that are going to last when you get out. And so we wrote a manual, and we, about 10 of us taught this class with Chaplain Dan Matchey, who's the greatest man I've ever met in my whole life. 70-year-old man, plays bass at Woodman Valley Chapel, rides a Harley, golfs, and is just a prison chaplain that doesn't get paid.
Yeah.
And speaking life into young men's lives, and we just taught this class with him, and him and Jerry Gasco, the ex-director of prisons, and we started changing things. And the next thing you know, I was out, and I've spoken a lot of high schools, colleges, organizations, sports teams.
Man, that's incredible.
I've gotten the opportunity to do some pretty cool things, and Thanks Fest is probably Thanks Fest is gaining some momentum here.
So this is your baby, right? This is like you've created this, and tell us a little bit about Thanks Fest here. We got some photos. We'll kind of go through.
Yeah, I was laying there in bed one night in my cell right before I got out. It was probably a month before I got out, and I was thinking, man, what can I do like for the community? What can we do? What can we do? And I started like writing down some ideas, and you have a lot of time to think in prison.
Sure.
So you can come up with some stuff. That was my garage right there.
Wow.
Because we didn't have a place.
And look at the
put it.
Cowboys. I can see your Cowboys cornhole in the back hiding.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's funny you picked that out, Shane.
Yep. I'm very
Take it in
observant out of all of it. Yes. I'm like, what is that?
We did the first year, just my family and some close friends. We raised a little bit of money, and we went, and I called the local church here in town and said, is there a family that doesn't have a Thanksgiving dinner this year? They said, yes, there's a lot, and so we got 5 families, and I remember going and buying 5 turkeys and 10 boxes of stuffing, and
wow.
Yams, and I wanted to do like the yams and the marshmallows but I wanted it to be, if you don't have money for the cooking, like for the meal, maybe you don't have money to cook it in. So I wanted the pan, I wanted the butter, I wanted the milk, I wanted
all of it,
all the stuff to make the mashed potatoes, the whole thing, cranberry sauce, beans, corn, the whole thing, right? Rolls, pies, all of it. And we did 5 families that year. I fit it all in the back of my SUV. And to think about where that's come in like 8 years is incredible.
That is incredible.
25 families the next year. We would actually deliver these meals to families' homes. Well, it got to be so logistically like a nightmare. Like we couldn't do it. It was too many families. And so we would do it at Colorado Custom Decks. I had a hookup over there, and we would do it outside. And then it got to be too big there. And then so now we do it at CPCD. And so I joined forces with CPCD, the Head Start program here in El Paso County.
Yeah.
And they're pretty awesome folks over there. And they give me all their families' names, right? These are families that all live below the poverty level, whatever that is, $24,000 for annual household income. They would not have a Thanksgiving dinner. Period.
Wow. And what's the goal this year? You told me a number when we were on the phone that day. 400?
400.
Wow. And
this is the last week of it, right? Like we have to have all the money raised by October 31st. And this is really when all the donors start chipping in, and it always stresses me out because everybody waits to the very last minute. And then but then every year, man, God just comes in and just provides, and people are just so good. And, you know, we have already in the last week, we've already raised, $16,000.
Wow.
The goal is 48,000. It takes about $120 to feed a family.
Yeah.
With inflation. Last year was 100.
Wow.
That's incredible.
20.
But
and what for our friends and family that are watching and listening and all of that, what do we do? I have the link.
We'll definitely put that.
Yeah,
below,
and that has
sure.
a donation.
Yeah, or you could type in CP, like C is in Charlie, P is in Paul, C is in Charlie, D is in David, CPCD, and just type that in your search engine. It'll pull it up, and then Thanks Fest will be one of the many things you can donate to. And great. I don't collect any of the money. I used to when it was like 75 families, and then it became a nightmare. And my accountant was like, "Let's not do this."
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
Right. So now CPCD, they're the nonprofit, right? And so they take all the money. They give you a tax deductible receipt for any business owners or anybody that's looking to make a difference this year in someone's life, and it's 50 cents on the dollar tax deductible.
That's great.
That's what's up, man.
And then you're also telling me that the week before Thanksgiving, you're looking for volunteers too to come help distribute all of the food, and what a gift it is to be able to be a part of that, as well as you're giving back to the community. That's the week before Thanksgiving on the Saturday. Tell me.
It is. It's that Saturday. It'll be down at CPCD. It's off Robinson Street. I'll be posting everywhere exactly what time, but we usually do it. Christina, what time do we usually do it?
Well, we start at like 7 a.m.
Yeah, everyone gets there at 7.
Okay, so it's early. So you're looking for people all day, either way, to be a part of it.
We put it. We set up at 7. I mean, it's a lot of setup. Can you imagine 400 gallons of milk, 400 turkeys? Could you imagine?
I'm gonna imagine it. We'll be there. We're gonna come help. So
it takes a lot of hands, and it takes everybody. And now we made it like COVID actually changed the game for us, right? And by the way, this is Christina.
Hi, Christina.
Christina Thomas right here.
Hi there.
Been with me
almost kind of see it.
Almost since day one. But she's my right hand. I couldn't.
Hey, Christina.
Well, couldn't do it without her then. That's good.
That's right.
Don't go anywhere, Christina.
That's right.
She's not allowed to go anywhere.
That's right.
I'm going back to prison.
Oh my gosh. No.
Hold on. What did you say?
How am I supposed to go anywhere? I work from home. I get to wear sweatpants.
Yeah, girl. Yeah.
You're holding it down.
It's what business in the front, party in the back.
That's right.
That's great. Well,
we make a day of it. We usually put I think it's 10 to 2 or maybe 9 to 1 or something like that. And the families all get like a golden coupon turkey, and then they pull up to CPCD, and they have a cool parking lot around their building. So they pull up in here. We get a chance to love on the families. They come around here. We have donuts and coffee and this and that. And they come around the other side of the building, and then we open up their hatchback or their SUV
right.
or in their truck or in their car. And then we have stations, right? So there's someone here throwing a bag of potatoes in and milk. And by the time they get to the end of the line, they've been encouraged by 100 people and everyone, no judgment, right? Like
so
I was
heartwarming.
a poor kid.
Yeah.
I was a poor kid. I never had no money growing up. You know, my mom was a single mom, and she worked 3 jobs. I remember one Thanksgiving she she bought a chicken and made it look like a turkey,
Wow. Well,
straight up. And you know, things are hard right now.
yeah. Well,
And
Wow.
it's
we
real.
just want, you know,
It's
you
really
can't do
nice.
everything.
Yeah, for you to take such an active role in your community.
Oh, it's inspirational.
It's inspirational,
Absolutely.
your story and
No
how you
doubt.
really took the time to turn your life around and you didn't let such a huge tragic event you know, it affected you and your family and so many other people's lives, like you said, but you turned it around. And I, like, from the first conversation that you and I had had up to multiple after that, you blew my mind when you told me that day. I had no idea that that was part of your story and how free you were with sharing it with me. I was like, wow, this is really great. And how you just totally did not let that get you down. You own multiple businesses. You're hustling every day. Like you're really
Helping people
Yeah, helping people.
every
It's
turn, no
inspirational.
doubt.
So I
man.
think the world needs a lot more of that.
Absolutely.
Right now especially, and it's great to be a part of your space and your sphere and be able to kind of watch that. So we're excited to see where things go for you. So thanks for
Well,
being there and all of that fun stuff. So it's wonderful.
I wish I didn't have such a cool story because, you know, I wouldn't recommend anybody go down this path to get a story.
Well, what a
Well,
perspective.
well,
Vaughn. I mean,
absolutely,
straight up,
yeah.
you know, there's,
Good
I think
Lord.
we all have our,
There's an
our
easier
unique
way.
stories, but
Yeah.
yours is definitely an inspiration.
Well, and if you can change somebody's life with that or the
man.
trajectory of where they're headed by sharing that detail and what you went through and where you are now, why not?
man.
You
Well,
know,
and there's
like
so many aspects going on there, like, you know, what could have happened and the way,
yeah.
you know, the way that,
Oh, man.
I mean, there's so many different, you know, outcomes, and it's just great to know that you put it, you know, you had some help and some good advice, but you did the work, man. You know,
Yeah.
you did that. And,
hell yeah.
so many people who are in that situation, they can't get out of that situation, and that's, you know, in prison and then getting out, and they get stuck in a rut, and there's no way for them to feel successful. And truly, you are an inspiration to people out there, you know, that have been in that situation, been in prison. You know, I mean, you turned it around, and now look at you, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, high fives.
I've got my own story. It's not as good, but you know, it definitely
I'll give you one.
it inspires me to, you know, want to get out there and touch the community and just help and you know,
Yeah.
help people who were in that situation,
Hell yeah.
because you and I know what that's like. So that's incredible, man. And we thank you literally from the bottom of our
Yeah.
heart, man. So
You guys are the real deal. You guys are the
That's
real
what's
deal.
Oh, thank
Awesome.
you. Well, Brian, we lost him a while ago.
we lost Brian,
Well,
but that's okay.
yep.
We touched on so much good stuff. You know, if you guys want to give either like financially or even your time, like we're gonna do,
Yep.
Both, whatever it is,
I'll put the links and
Yep,
how
we'll
to
have all that
contact
down
Vaughn
there.
in the comments.
No
And then
doubt.
before we wrap it, I want Vaughn to tell us who these guys are.
That's right. Tell us.
They're so freaking cute. Oh my god.
You see this, Christina?
They're so cute. What are their names?
dope.
How old
That's
are they? Do they
They're both 3. So
Oh
the
my-
white one's about 4 months older than the brown one.
Oh my
Oh,
The
gosh.
white one's name is Cody Bellinger, named
Oh.
after the best baseball player in the MLB.
Okay.
Because I'm a Dodgers fan.
Okay.
And so we call him Belly. And then Braxton is named after former Ohio State quarterback Braxton Miller.
Oh my
All
gosh.
right,
So Belly and Brax.
Look at
and
those
are-
nuggets.
yeah, man, they're something else.
Oh my gosh,
They're
I
a
bet.
full-time job.
I bet.
They're usually snoring right now at all levels. Like it's just ridiculous snoring all day. And they sleep here, but they know that we're leaving on a plane. Like I got to leave here in 5 or 10 minutes. They know where the mom and dad are catching a plane. And so they are
They're freaking
sitting
out.
by the door and they're freaking out. Whenever they see the suitcases, they're not okay. Like
Oh,
it's
poor babies. Well, hopefully they got a good puppy sitter coming in.
Oh, you
And,
know it.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
we
all
know
of
I'm sure
that.
they're well
so,
taken care of,
yeah,
no
well,
doubt.
Vaughn, thank you. We'll have you come on again. We didn't get
Yeah,
to
buddy.
talk about everything
So
we
many
wanted to
things
talk
that
about.
I would love to touch on.
Yep.
You know, it was
So
awesome. man.
thank
So
you.
thank you so
Tell
much.
Christina thanks for all of her hard work, and I hope you have a great day, everyone. If we have questions on
Right.
Thanks Fest, make sure you hit us up, share the video, all of it. Do all
Yes,
the
do it.
things. Yes. Thank you.
All right.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
For
guys.
having me.
Thank you.
Go Cowboys.